Donald Trump picked a new economic advisor since Goldman Sachs lackey Gary Cohn left over Trump's tariff decision. And this new advisor is just as bad, if not maybe worse, than the old advisor. Trump taps CNBC commentator to be top economic advisor. So Trump loves TV. In fact, there was a story last week that he stopped in the middle of a meeting to call a Fox and Friends host to get his opinion on some issue. That's got to be a first. That's got to be a first, and man, is that sad. Well, now he's putting a Larry Kudlow in his administration. Kudlow is a Republican who served as an economic advisor to former President Ronald Reagan in the 1980s, and he also worked on Wall Street. He's in favor of TPP. What happened, Donald? I thought that, you're Mr. Anti-TPP. He campaigned on it. He signed an executive order that killed it when he got into office. By the way, that was basically a bullshit kabuki theater act, because there's been countless stories since then discussing how Trump is slipping the worst provisions of TPP into the renegotiation of NAFTA. So, and this is what I warned you guys of, that, hey, what he might do is axe the TPP because people don't like it, and then do a marketing rebranding trick where he goes, no, now it's amazing. What I have here is the Trump trade deal, and it's perfect. It's unbelievable. And then try to sell it to everybody. Well, it's actually a little more clever than that, and the move is to slip in those provisions into the renegotiation of NAFTA and probably different pieces of legislation as well. So Trump's not anti-TPP. That's a lie, and that's why he's picking as a top economic advisor a guy who's massively pro-TPP. But that's not it. Larry Kudlow is also pro-NAFTA. NAFTA, another big thing that Trump was like, I'm against it. I'm against it. Terrible, sad, hurts the middle class, amazingly, tremendously. Well, Larry Kudlow is a guy who's been singing NAFTA's praises. He says it's one of the biggest misconceptions in politics that NAFTA's bad, or NAFTA's hurt the working class in the United States. And he's objectively wrong about that. There's been countless jobs that have been outsourced as a result of NAFTA. I mean, really, the big elephant in the room is permanent normal trade relations with China. That decimated U.S. manufacturing. So he's simply wrong about that. But this is a guy who's in favor of, he's just a free trade fundamentalist, because he doesn't care about the working class in America and losing your job and outsourcing the jobs for sweatshop labor. He cares about the fact that the CEOs and the owner class can make more money if they have some kid in Bangladesh make the goods for cents on the dollar. So that's where Larry Kudlow's mind is at. By the way, he's also against the minimum wage. Working class hero Donald Trump. And just so you know, the last year Obama was in office, Obama was not good on trade issues. 87,000 jobs were outsourced in Obama's last year in office. 87,000. That's abysmal, especially on a guy. Obama ran a similar way as Trump, like, oh, I'm against the trade deals. Well, why the fuck? He signed a bunch of trade deals, by the way. Obama did. And 87,000 jobs you lost in your last year? What a terrible record. Well, Trump came in and he ran against trade deals, right? So he probably, what happened with him? He probably didn't outsource jobs. See where this is going? No, Trump outsourced 93,000 jobs in his first year. And now he's packing his administration even more with free trade fundamentalists who don't believe in protecting the working class in America. So he's anti-minimum wage, hilariously stupid, doesn't care about the working poor. He also predicted that Mitt Romney would win in 2012 in a landslide victory. Again, on that alone, you can't, because you know what that shows? It shows you just make shit up. Like, listen, if you had the prediction, oh, I think maybe Mitt Romney will win, and it's a 51% chance in my mind Romney will win, okay, fine. That's a terrible prediction, but it's not disqualifying. What is disqualifying is saying Romney's going to win in a landslide, because there wasn't a single poll that indicated that anywhere in sight. Anywhere. Now, some people might say, well, the 2016 election kind of defied the polls. Not really. I mean, it was on the edge of, what was expected, but Hillary Clinton was up in the national polls, and she ended up winning the popular vote by 3 million votes, which is not a margin to scoff at. So the polls kind of held true. It's just that the way that the support for Trump was distributed around the country was perfect for him to win the Electoral College, because with 80,000 votes in the Rust Belt really swung the election. So it's not like, yes, most pollsters predicted Hillary would win, of course, but I was saying, hey, this could go either way and it's going to be close. I thought Hillary was going to win, but I didn't think I thought it was going to be a lot closer than other people were saying. So a Trump victory was in the realm of possibility. A Romney victory was in the realm of possibility, but certainly not a Romney landslide. And Larry Kudlow, I think it's going to be a Romney landslide. He talks in a really annoying and obnoxious way. So he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, man. He doesn't. And okay, you think that's bad for predictive ability? In 2005, he said, everybody that says that there's a crash coming, they're bubbleheads. Bubbleheads, he used the term. They're bubbleheads. They don't know what they're talking about. There's not a crash coming. He said that. And you know what's even sadder? He was talking specifically about the real estate market. Nobody has ever been more wrong in the history of wrongness. Actually, that's not true. Donald Trump started a real estate company in 2007 or 2006. It was right before the crash. He's like, real estate's tremendous. It's going to go up from here. It's going to be unbelievable. I'm going to get in this business. Oh shit, it tanked. Larry Kudlow was saying he was one of those idiots on CNBC. And by the way, you should never, under any circumstances, watch CNBC, because they're maybe even worse than Fox News. Because on a network that's supposed to be all financial experts, 99.9% of them said, there's no crash coming. I don't know what you're talking about. No, we're the experts, and we tell you everything's all good and keep investing your money and shut the fuck up. There was one dissenting voice. It was a libertarian economist named Peter Schiff who would go on there and say, there's a crash coming, and they'd all laugh him out of the room. Sometimes literally, they laughed at him. Larry Kudlow was one of those fucking idiots who was like, there's not a crash coming, I don't know what you mean. How do you not see the bubble? How do you not see anybody who learns just a little bit about economics and is not polluted by mainstream media, conventional wisdom bullshit, could have looked at the extreme growth and said, we're in a bubble and this shit is going to crash. But Larry Kudlow, Mr. I'm so smart, I'm Larry Kudlow, couldn't see the most obvious crash ever coming. Couldn't see it. And this guy's going to be helping Trump make economic decisions. I mean, Trump's bad enough as it is, but this idiot, oh my God, he makes this even worse. And the final point about Larry Kudlow is he is a math denier. Now, that might sound like an extreme way of phrasing it, but I really don't think it's that extreme. I want you to listen to his comments on Trump's tax bill. I think this was either just before or just after it passed. Take a look.
We're going to lower business tax rates across the board. We're going to large companies, S-corps, LLCs, that's what you're going to hear today, 15%, expensing, repatriation, you're going to get some stuff about infrastructure, and then comes the battle of the scorecards, okay? 3% growth creates, my judgment, about $4 trillion in extra revenues. I call it the mother of all pay-fors, but there's going to be a debate in this town. I heard it last night at a dinner. I heard it this morning. I'm speaking to the Senate luncheon today. There's going to be a battle of the scorecards. I don't know. It's like golf or gin rummy or something. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah, Larry, I know you're in D.C. to have some of these meetings. What's your take on how this is all going to go down in Congress if the Republicans can swallow enlarging the deficit to get some of these massive cuts?
Well, you know, here's the deal. I don't know that they're going to get larger deficits. Maybe the first year or two, okay, or even the first three. I'm here to say, and a lot of Republicans believe this, not all, but many, I'm here to say that the business tax cut side is going to pay for itself. Give it a couple, 3, 4, 5 years, okay? That's what I believe.
You believe that, and it's faith. You believe it like you're a fucking Scientologist, or you're a fundamentalist Christian, or you're in a cult. That's how you believe it. I believe that. I don't care what you believe. I care what is empirically, objectively, verifiably true. I believe that. You're just wrong. You're just wrong. You can't point to a single credible analysis from economists that say, yeah, this is not going to add to the deficit. You know what this is? This is what George H.W. Bush used to call voodoo economics. Because it's the idea that, well, look, if you deregulate and you cut taxes for the rich, that actually increases tax revenue. Stop and think about how dumb that is on its face. If you cut taxes, if you lower the tax rate, somehow the government takes more taxes in. If you lower the tax rate, you're almost by definition lowering the amount of money coming into the government. But the bullshit convoluted argument they make is this. When you lower taxes on the rich, what happens is that unleashes the beast of the free market so much that so much wealth is created, and then even though they're paying a lower tax rate, it ends up being a net higher number, because even though it's a lower tax rate, the growth is so tremendous that you get more tax revenue going into the government. Simply not true. Don't take my word for it. Don't even take the left-wing economists, who are right, by the way, when they say that's not what's going to happen. Take the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, who the Republicans cite all the fucking time whenever it's a number they like, but they say, oh yeah, no, that's not, no. It's going to be about anywhere from $1 trillion to a $1.4 trillion deficit. So that's based on nothing. You're a math denier. You're a math denier, Larry Kudlow. I think by lowering the amount of taxes the government takes in, it'll increase the number of taxes the government takes in. Nonsense! Utter nonsense! We just did this with George W. Bush! We just did it! Record debt and deficits. Record. So we just implemented your ideology. I mean, they act like their ideology has never been implemented. Like, hey, you know what we should try? Maybe we should try deregulating and cutting taxes for the rich. Hey, idiot, that's what we did right before the Great Depression and right before the Great Recession. We just did it. We just fucking did it. We just did it. But they go out there and listen, I don't know if Larry Kudlow's an idiot or if he's a liar or both, but he's one of those things or both of those things, because there's no other conclusion. You know, I can't say he's ignorant because he's been involved in this stuff all the time, so he's seen all the arguments. So either he's an idiot and he just comes to the wrong conclusion all the fucking time, or he's a liar. He knows that he's wrong, but he's just going to make the case. And maybe it is that's the case because, you know, hey, he's been in those corporate circles his entire adult life, and I'm sure he knows a lot of the people who are the heads of these corporations, and he's on the cocktail circuit, and he's buddy-buddy with the CEOs and the owner class and the elites. So he doesn't give a fuck. He'll just lie for them so that they get a lower tax rate and they get to keep more of their money. So I don't know. I don't know what the reality is. But either way, Larry Kudlow is an embarrassingly pathetic pick. And listen, this is another issue where, hey, Democrats, fucking resist, bitch. Hashtag the resistance. Then they asked Chuck Schumer, hey, are you going to resist Mike Pompeo, the neocon warhawk torture supporter who wants to execute Edward Snowden? Are you going to object to him being Secretary of State? Schumer's like, no, I don't think so. What happened to resist? Are you going to object to somebody who literally did torture, Gina Haspel, becoming head of the CIA? No, I don't think I'm going to. What happened to resist? Why aren't you resisting Larry fucking Kudlow, a CNBC idiot who's been objectively wrong about everything he's ever fucking said? Why aren't you objecting to him making economic decisions for our entire country? Useless, stupid Republicans, insanely useless, pathetic Democrats.